Howdy, howdy. How is everyone today? What I want to talk to you guys about today is working with buyers and how to do it profitably. The strange thing about this is we get into the real estate business and we just make the fatal mistake of looking around at what everyone else does and we copy them. We're letting other people's bad habits impact our income and our success in this business. So let's talk a little bit about paradigms, these habits that influence the way you think and what you do, what you decide to do, how you operate in your business. Let's look at when it comes to working with sellers. How many of you would work with a seller, do any work for a seller without a listing agreement in place first? You know what I'm saying? If a seller called you and said, hey, I'm not really big into commitment or contracts, but I'd like you to go out there and advertise my home and open house it and show it to buyers and negotiate offers. And maybe at the end, if I'm happy, I'll pay you. How many of you would do that? None of you would do that. So we have rules of engagement. We have rules when it comes to sellers. However, with buyers, for many agents, there are no rules. They get an ad call or a sign call, boom, they run out of the office, drive 20 minutes across town, and show the buyer a home that you already know the buyer is highly unlikely they're not going to buy it. It's going to be too big, it's too small, it's in the wrong location. And to make matters worse, we show the property. If you're like me, you'll be out in the driveway later, apologizing to the buyer. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like the property. But what are you looking for? Because I'll email you every day. I'll email you exactly what you're looking for, which makes matters worse because now I'm out there over and over again showing them properties that they're probably not going to buy, or maybe they do and they just leave me behind when they're ready to buy. Has that ever happened to any of you? If you spent a long time, invested a lot of time with buyers, weeks, months, and you've been disappointed, they've left you behind. When it came time to buy, they used another real estate agent. You didn't get compensated for the time that you invested. Well, in a way, it's kind of our own fault when that happens. So let's get back to this idea of why do you have rules when it comes to sellers? The rules are the seller must sign the listing agreement before you invest any time or money with the seller. But with buyers, we'll happily leave our kid's birthday party, not happily maybe, but the buyer's in front of one of your listings. They call off the sign. Guess when the buyer wants to look at the property? Right now. So boom, you drop whatever you're doing. You're out of the house, out of the office, drive across town because you're afraid, well, if I don't show them the home, they'll just call another agent. Okay, so how do we handle this? First of all, what I want to teach you is it's easy to get the buyers to meet with you if you know how to use the right words. You can compel the buyers. First, we're going to qualify them, make sure this is even a buyer that you want to meet with. Then we're going to compel the best buyers, motivated, qualified buyers, to meet with us. Well, how do we do that? Now, first of all, doing what I'm about to tell you, not all the buyers will meet with you. And not all the buyers you meet with are going to sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement. But to be fair, all the sellers that you talk to don't meet with you. And all the sellers you meet with, they don't sign a listing agreement with you. That doesn't mean you stop trying to get sellers. So we must get a contract in place before we run around and we show the buyers properties. If we do this backwards, if we run around with the buyers and show them properties before we get a contract signed, we're really communicating to the buyer that our time is worth nothing. Once the cat's out of the bag, it's hard to get the cat back in the bag again. Cats don't like being in bags. So you've got to set these rules right from the get-go. Okay, let me repeat that again. If you start running around showing the buyers houses, it's going to be very difficult to get the buyer to sign a buyer agency agreement because you just proved to them that your time's worth nothing. How do you change the rules now? Very difficult. So we're going to teach you the right language to use to qualify the buyer and then compel the buyer to want to meet with you. You can't make the buyer meet with you. You can only use the right language, benefit-laden language, okay? Speak their language, offer them what they want, so they're compelled to meet with you. And then when you meet with them, again, you've got to use the right language to compel them to meet with you. But let's be fair about this. All you're trying to do is to convince the buyer to pay you nothing. You realize that, right? You have no problem meeting with the seller and convincing that seller in exchange for your services to pay you $20 or $30 or $40,000 or more in the form of a listing commission. But we get all bent out of shape when it comes to working with buyers, and we're asking them to pay us nothing. All you're asking the buyer for is their loyalty. So if I was to summarize my buyer presentation, it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes if you do it the correct way to compel the buyer to sign up with you. Basically, what we're saying to the buyer is, I'm going to do this for free, and this for free, and this for free. I do all these services for you, and all I ask in return is for your loyalty. None of these services cost you a penny. All I ask in return is for your loyalty. Does that sound fair? Well, I don't know. Is that a fair request? If you're going to do this and this and this and this and this, you're going to run around for the buyer, you're going to email them new properties and show them properties and negotiate the offer on their best behalf, and you don't charge them a penny. All you ask in return is for their loyalty. Is that a fair request? Why are we so terrified to ask the buyer for their loyalty? Well, I'll tell you one problem, and I get it. Back in the day when I started, I didn't have a lot of buyers. Like if I've only got one buyer, I'm afraid to ask the buyer the commitment question, because what if the buyer says, no, I won't commit to you, Craig? Well, now I have no buyers. So we solve this through effective lead generation. I want to show you how to generate a steady stream of leads. It has to be easy. It has to be affordable. It has to be consistent. Now, if you had a steady stream of buyer and seller leads, here's what you would do. You would come to the realization, I can't work with them all. And believe me, that's the position I want you to be in. I want you to be in a position where you have slightly more buyers and sellers than you could possibly work with. So you can qualify the buyers, find out who's for real, who's motivated, who's qualified, and only spend time with people that will commit to you, that will meet with you and sign either a listing agreement or a buyer agreement. It's really a lot easier than you think. If you'd like some help with your business, we are happy to offer you a free business consultation. You can go to proctorcall.com, just my name, proctorcall.com. You can answer a few questions online, absolutely free of charge and no obligation to help you out. We'd love to do that. If you found this video helpful, by the way, please share it with somebody you think might benefit. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day.